Hey y'all, it's Miss Brown here, and today we are going to learn about stem and leaf plots. So let me get going and share my screen for you. So by the end of the day today, you should be able to read and interpret stem and leaf plots. So there are two different types, or there are two different parts of a stem and leaf plot. We're going to go over the two different types, which should probably be self-explanatory at this point. You've got your leaf and your stem, or your stem and your leaf. So what we're going to do is think about a stem and leaf. And they are two different plots, two different parts of a number in a specified place value. That's both the stem and the leaf of a stem and leaf plot. So the good thing about it is you always know which is which because you'll get a key. So you want to look for the key on your stem and leaf plot, and let me show you what an example looks like. So this is the first one that we're going to do today. This is a stem and leaf plot. It says the stem and leaf plot shows the weight of Mary's puppy to the nearest 1/10 of a pound. Let me zoom in on this so you can see it a little better. So I've got in my key here, this is my key for this stem and leaf plot. It says that the stem, this will be the stem, is in the ones place. And the leaf is in the tenths place. So if you want to really think about that with what the dot plot says, notice here is the ones place. In the tenths, it equals my ones place and my tenths place, or 2 and 1/10. So that dot would go there. So when you read these numbers, it's an easy way to have a large set of data. So for example, if I were to list all of these numbers out for you, it would be 3 and 1/10, 3 and 1/10 again. Then we've got 3 and 5/10. Then 3 and 6/10. So to continue labeling the data, we're just going to say now we've got 4 and 4/10, 4 and 5/10, 4 and 5/10 again, and then 4 and 8/10. Notice I use the ones place as many times as I need to for my tenths place. So I use this particular stem 1, 2, 3, 4 different times because I have 4 different numbers here really. 3 and 1/10, 3 and 1/10, 3 and 5/10, and 3 and 6/10. So I'm going to quickly continue to label this piece of data, and you can watch and see if you get the same thing. And we're done. Now that we've got all of our data listed, let's see how much more does the heaviest puppy weigh than the lightest puppy. So we're looking for two things, the heaviest puppy and the lightest puppy. I know that the heaviest puppy is going to be the largest number, and the lightest puppy is going to be the smallest number. And then it asks how much more. I know that how much more clues me in that it's time for subtraction. So I just take 6 3/10 minus 3 1/10. 3 minus 1 and 6 minus 3. So the heaviest puppy weighs 3 2/10 of a pounds larger than the lightest puppy. So let's do one together. What I want you to do is grab a blank sheet of paper and show your work with me as I go. Let's look at one where we're given a set of data and we have to find which stem and leaf plot matches. So let's look at this one. The table shows the grades of different students on a math quiz. So these are the grades that they got on that math quiz. Which stem and leaf plot represents the data in the table? Look, we got to look for that key. That's our number one step. Look for that key. Now notice, this time our stem and our leaf are in different place values. I know this because when it says equals to, it's equal to 75, which means my 7 is in my tens place, and my 5 is in my ones place. And that's true on all of these here. That this would be the tens and the ones, the tens and the ones, the tens and the ones, and the tens and the ones. So now that I've got my place values labeled, so remember, we've got the key. Now I'm going to label place values. And then that third step is going to be look at or create data. So we're going to look at this data with this data. We've already got it on this one. Okay, so let's see. I am going to start by putting these in order because I know my stem and leaf plots are going to be in order from smallest to largest each time. Smallest getting bigger to largest. So let's take a look at these numbers, and I'm going to go from my smallest and list it out first. So my smallest is 75. And then I've got 80. Let's see, 83, 84. Let's go 83, 84. And notice I am stacking them on top of each other. So this is my smallest in my stem, and my stem is getting larger as I go down too. So now my next line is going to be in my 90s. So I've got my 93 and my 95. Then finally, we've got our 100. So now I need to figure out which one of these stems and leaf plots matches the data that I have here. So what I like to do is either go with my smallest or my largest first. So I can see each one of these has a 75. I'm gonna cross those each off, and I know that I got that one taken care of. Now that I've got my, my 75, I'm gonna go to 80. So notice, when I look for the number 80, I'm going to need an 8 in my stem, but in my leaf, I am going to need a 0. So this doesn't have a 0, which means 80 is not in this set of data, so A can't be correct. But look, I have 80 right here, here, and here. I've got zeros on each of those. So those are all still in the game. My 80 is done. Let's go to 83. We don't need to look at this one anymore because I've already eliminated that earlier. I've got 83 here and here. Ooh, but I don't have it in this one. There's an 8, but there's no 3. So I don't need this one anymore. I can cross it out. So I've only got 2 left. Let's check on our 84. I got 84 here, and I got 84 here. Let's move on. 93, I got 93 here, 93 here, 95 here, 95 here, which leaves 100. Let's check it out. We've got 100 here, because remember, if this is in my tens place, then I'm gonna have a 0 in my place value, and I have the correct number of zeros to make 100. So that number is 100. However, I don't have a 0 over here, so this number is just 10. Because I don't have it, it can't be that one. So your answer here would be B. Okay, let me do one more with you, and then I'm gonna leave you with an exit ticket. This one is similar. Actually, let's go with this one. This one's a challenge. This one has a lot of numbers. And so a lot of times I try to find patterns of largest or smallest numbers when we find questions with a lot of numbers. So this seems like a lot going on, but it's really not. Let's take it apart and figure out why. It says the dot plot shows the high temperatures in the month of April on different days. Which stem and leaf plot matches the dot plot? So this is kind of connecting what we did last week with Ms. Cole and the dot plot to stem and leaves this week. So let's take a look. Notice my dot plot has its label. These are the temperatures. And these are our stem and leaf plots over here. So when I have a lot of data like this, I like to first check out some of my largest and smallest numbers to see if there are any patterns there. For example, I'm gonna look right here and see this is 60. And I don't have any dots on 60, so I know that my first number is actually going to be 61 when I'm writing out these numbers. It's the lowest number. So this stem and leaf plot with a 0 right here cannot be what we've got. Because notice this one doesn't have a key because your dot plot gives you the key by basically saying 70, 80, 90. There's only going to be 2 place values in these numbers, the 10s and the 1s. All of these are going to be 10s and 1s, 10s and 1s. So with this 0 right here, my first number is 61. This A, we already know, is not going to be it because it has the number 60 and our dot plot doesn't. But notice all of your other ones start with 61. So A would not be it. Notice we found that pattern with the smallest number. Let's check out the largest number. So I've got 80, we've got 2 81s, 82, 83, there's 2 83s, there's 3 84s, and then your last one is 85. So any one of these that has larger than 85 as the largest number, you know can't be it either. So like, look at B. Here's 85, and it has a larger one. So I know that B is not it because 90 isn't on there. Take a look at C. Notice we don't have a 0 there. So there is no 90, there's just nothing there. So 85 is your highest here, and 85 is your highest here. So we still got C and D in play. From now that we've got a couple of these eliminated, I can just go back and start filling, like checking and seeing each one separately. So I know that this is 61, this is 62. Let's check. I have a 62 here and a 62 here. 63 is nothing. Here is 64. Got a 64, got a 64. 65 is nothing. So there shouldn't be a 5 here or here, and there's not. 66, there's two 66s. So 66, there's only one there, but we've got 2 over here, which means we've eliminated this one, and D is our only possible answer. See how we didn't need to like list all of the data out? We can look at patterns with the largest and smallest numbers that kind of jump out at our eyes. All right, time for your exit ticket. Make sure that once you're done with your exit ticket, you send it on over to your homeroom teacher. You can pause it from here, and I'll be back later this week to do some stuff on some lessons on financial literacy, which is like how you spend your money. All right, y'all, have a great day.